Hey guys, Fire here from InDepth Gaming, bringing you another game review. This time we're checking out WINGSPAN. WINGSPAN is developed and published by Monster Couch and releases on June 18th, 2021 for a price of $19.99. So what is WINGSPAN? WINGSPAN is a console reimagining of the board game Wingspan that came out a few years ago that actually managed to win quite a bit of awards. Wingspan is an engine building style game, so if you've ever played the board game, this is going to feel very, very similar and very, very challenging at the same time. So the game takes place over 4 rounds, and each round you'll get a certain amount of moves. Between each round, you'll get less and less time to choose your actions to proceed through your additional moves. When the game first starts out, you get to choose up to 5 of any combination of food to start with or birds to start with. And then every one of these birds, if you look here, has different abilities based on when you activate them and the areas that the birds kind of live in. Some of the birds can only reside in one area, as you can see indicated by the red, yellow, and blue markers. I can tap through here for the different environments, and some birds can live in any one of the combinations of them. So the birds and characteristics that you select at the beginning of the game will have a big, effect on really how your game plays as you proceed throughout and with selecting what you start off with. The engine that you build in terms of the cards that you use are going to greatly affect the outcome and how you're scored. While you're playing in the game, you're going to have 4 distinct rounds, and in those rounds, there's these, round specific goals that are random every time you play. You can see them here in the top right of the screen, and that have a leaderboard style system. So, based how you rank up against all the other players, you'll score additional bonus points at the very end of the game. Um, Generally, you're just going to repeat a lot of the simple things. You can do one of 4 different tasks. You can choose an action, whether it's gain food, lay eggs, draw cards, or you can play a bird. And then it's pretty much one and done until your next turn comes around. So you have to be very smart about what animals you play and when you play them. As you play different birds in different habitats, you'll gain additional bonuses from playing them. So now that I've played one bird in my forest here, next time I use the forest, if I want to gain food, I can also discard a card out of my hand that's a bird to gain an extra food, or I could get 2 foods, or 2 foods or a discard, or 3 foods, and so on. And that really spans between all the different environments that you're in. And you're pretty much just going to be repeating this process while you're playing through the game. You need to build the best engine that you can to then allow you to have the greatest system. Now, the thing that you have to rely on is when you're playing, you have all these other players that all have their own environments, which you can check up on and see what they're doing, but you have to try to outplay and outwit those other players. And it does make the game very tactical and very strategic while you are playing it. Some of the mechanics can be very easy to pick up and play at the beginning. Others can be quite challenging, like understanding the different symbols, whether they're birds that are predators, good for nesting, good for egg laying, and that's really just going to vary while you're playing. So if you are planning to pick up and dive into this game, and even if you've played the board game before, I'm going to highly encourage you to go to the main menu when you're in the game. Right off the bat, you're going to want to hit play, go through this tutorial. It's very informative and will help you out quite a bit. Plus, if you're already in the middle of a game and you're stuck somewhere, the game has this awesome ability where it can save your games, which is just super awesome, as well as an Atama mode, which introduces some cool, fun, and additional mechanics, which I'll save for if you're going to choose to pick the game up yourself, where you can play couch co-op locally, passing controllers around or against AI at varying difficulty levels. You can also play online game modes. Now, I can't really show you too much here because at the time of recording this video, the game's not out yet and there's just not a lot of people to play with. But you can do what's called turn-based games. So I can play a game with other players, but I can play it at a very slow pace. So each player does one move over the course of 3 days. So you don't have to sit and grind at this over and over, and you can really take your time while you're playing in the game, and it's quite a nice, experience. So I can play my, belted kingfisher here, get my affected abilities, and then there's nothing else going to happen until these other 2 players in my game perform all their actions, which could be, 2, 3 days away. Or you can go into these online games that allow you to play where everybody has a 5 minute real time game session. You have to make decisions quickly. And you can even customize those games down to certain specific rules that you like. It's a really awesome and cool effect for the game, and I think it does the game some really good justice. I like seeing board games that are adapted to console that allow people to take time. So if I want to slow play a game with my friends, I can, and I can do this with up to 10 games at once. So that's super awesome and a great mechanical system that I think is, definitely something that I'd like to see some other games that maybe try to adapt to board games or things like that. We'll, definitely take a look at. As well as the gameplay, I know a lot of you guys want to know about the achievements. I've played probably 20 games so far. The achievements are pretty skill intensive and demanding. You have to do a wide variety of all kinds of special specific tasks, but everything is completely doable. You just got to kind of up your skill in the game. Now, all the achievements do have tracking on them, so that is a nice thing to see, how you're doing. But a lot of the tracking doesn't really matter because you have to do almost everything in one specific game. So it almost shows you how close you came to succeeding while ultimately still failing. So kind of a little nod there. As well as I love the additional add-in of the birds kind of directory and lets you look at all the different cards and see all the cards that you've uncovered. As you can see, there's plenty of cards that even in my 20 plus games, I still haven't came across a single time. And there are achievements for finding all these birds and playing all of them at least once. They range from 0 points all the way up to 9 points with some pretty cool abilities the higher up you go, and can be pretty demanding as well to try to play. Overall, though, I think Wingspan's an amazingly fun game. I have enjoyed every minute of it. Definitely takes a little bit of time getting used to the controller gameplay, but it is actually very well done, as well as the background music fits Wingspan extremely well. If you guys are looking to pick up the game, we do have a link down in the description. If I have to give this game any type of a rating, I'm going to give this game a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's an amazing adaptation of an already amazing game, and it plays extremely well on the console. I hope you guys would consider picking up Wingspan. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and if you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. I hope you guys have a great day.